What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to talk about the one big feature that I hope gets carried forward from Modern Warfare 3 into Black Ops 6, and this is the Aftermarket Parts system, or at least something that closely resembles it. So for anybody that may be unfamiliar, maybe you didn't play Modern Warfare 3 at all, with the Aftermarket Parts system, the way this works is nearly every single week for your weekly challenges, if you complete 5 of them across any of the 3 game modes, so multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone, you will unlock an aftermarket part. And most of these aftermarket parts are actually weapon conversion kits that take up an attachment slot, but often completely change how a gun works. So oftentimes it'll change up the fire mode, so a full auto gun will now become a burst gun, or sometimes it basically turns it into a totally different class of weapons. So a sniper rifle might become like a shotgun, or a shotgun might become like a battle rifle, for instance. And these conversion kits will have their own unique stats, and they'll often play like a very different gun. Now that's not always the case. Sometimes you just see a slight rate of fire change and maybe a little bit of an adjustment to the damage profile, but largely speaking, that aftermarket part conversion kit is pretty similar to the base gun. However, on top of those conversion kits, there are other aftermarket parts which come in the form of just unique attachments that can be used across multiple weapons. So there's like an underbarrel chainsaw grip, for instance, so you can put that in the underbarrel slot on a wide variety of your weapons, and that's got its own unique characteristics, or you could do the underbarrel flamethrower as well. Or there's like the Jack Cutthroat stock, which could be used on a small handful of weapons, and that allows you to strafe really quickly in gunfights. And the big key with all of these aftermarket parts is you can unlock one almost every single week through your weekly challenges in Modern Warfare 3. In fact, I just went and did a really quick count of just the weapon conversion kits, not the aftermarket part attachments, but just the conversion kits. And Modern Warfare 3 currently has over 40 of these conversion kits. So as far as gameplay goes, at least, that's practically like 40 brand new weapons that they added to the game throughout these seasons, just in the form of aftermarket parts. That's not even mentioning the actual brand new guns that they brought with these seasonal and mid-season updates. And in my opinion, this is by far the best thing that Modern Warfare 3 brought to the table for the Call of Duty franchise, because for the first time ever, Modern Warfare 3 gave really good, worthwhile weekly challenges that I would actually get excited for. I would often get very excited for Wednesdays, so I could log on, unlock the new aftermarket part, check it out. For me, of course, make a video about it, and that is selfishly a part of the reason I want to see something like Aftermarket Parts return as well. It basically allows me to create a new video on a brand new weapon and a full breakdown, especially with my style of content. It works really well. So selfishly, yes, that's another reason I do want Aftermarket Parts to return. But even just as a player, this system was one of the main reasons that Modern Warfare 3, in my eyes at least, was the first Call of Duty to actually feel like a live service title, unlike many of the recent quote-unquote live service titles that we've had in the franchise. So like with the launch of Modern Warfare 2019, that is when Call of Duty shifted in that direction of live service, where it's all about like battle passes and seasons. But as far as actual playable content that you can earn and unlock, in all those live service games leading up to Modern Warfare 3, you basically just get that content at the beginning of a new season and then with a mid-season update. And for everything in between, it's basically just cosmetics or grinding out your regular challenges. But there wasn't really any new playable content to get excited for week after week after week. In Modern Warfare 3, with this aftermarket part system, it changed the game in my eyes, and it's something that I really hope becomes a staple, including in Black Ops 6. So let's go over some of my hopes for Black Ops 6, keeping in mind at this stage, nothing has been confirmed as far as aftermarket parts go, and I don't want to get your hopes up too high or anything. This isn't a video confirming or saying there will be aftermarket parts in the game. I'm just laying out some of my hopes here. But essentially, I would love to see them handle it in a very similar way to Modern Warfare 3. I actually feel like they did a really good job handling this, where nearly every single week, it doesn't have to be every single week, but nearly every week, we get a new aftermarket part available through our weekly challenges. So we've got that incentive to hop on every single week, at the very least just grind out some challenges, make those challenges very easy and reasonable to complete, even for the really casual players. That's what they did in Modern Warfare 3. It was quite easy to just log on. Usually within about 2 to 3 games, you could get those 5 challenges done, or you could pop into zombies for like half an hour or something and just really casually grind out 5 challenges. Obviously, one of the big features of aftermarket parts in Modern Warfare 3 that won't work so well for Black Ops 6 is there was a tendency for them to be 3D printed. That was kind of the gimmick of it, is they were 3D printed parts. And with the setting of Black Ops 6 being in the 90s, 3D printing obviously isn't going to work, but there's still plenty of room for weapon variants or custom modifications. It's not like people couldn't make custom modifications without 3D printing back in the day, so it's still absolutely a possibility. Also, for many weapons back in those days as well, they just had different variants, and perhaps some aftermarket parts could simply be a different variant of a gun. Additionally, it's worth mentioning, even though 3D printing wasn't available back then, this is Call of Duty at the end of the day, and they do tend to stretch things a little bit. I mean, look at the pre-order guns that we had access to in the beta and will have access to right at launch in the game. If they can have guns like this, then they could probably stretch the imagination a little bit with some of the aftermarket parts, if they will be coming to the game, that is. Additionally, for my hopes with this, if they are going to be having a system like this, I think ideally these parts should be truly unique. They should feel very different from the base version of the gun. Whether that's completely changing up the fire type, or like swapping it to a different weapon class, or maybe just making a totally different, very gimmicky sort of thing that has like a strange charge up time to it before releasing a shot. I know some of the aftermarket parts in Modern Warfare 3 did that. Essentially, what I'm looking for with aftermarket parts is a truly unique experience. So it's not just a different version of a gun that's already in the game that plays very slightly different, but it's something that plays nothing like anything else in the game. And then on top of that, something where Sledgehammer was pretty hit or miss. Balance, I think, is key when it comes to these. Early on in Modern Warfare 3, it seemed a lot of the aftermarket parts were way too weak and just not worth using. It was just a straight up downgrade to the weapon, and therefore it often wasn't really all that exciting to unlock a new aftermarket part. It wasn't worthwhile to hop on and complete the challenges because you were just getting a much worse version of the existing gun that you've already got. Then on the flip side, they ended up turning things around with that, and in many cases, they went a little bit too powerful with their aftermarket parts when they added it to the game. And then, of course, you break weapon balance, and now everybody's just spamming that one single aftermarket part in the game, and that's like the meta thing to be using, and then they have to nerf it again a little bit down the road. So of course, I know this is easier said than done, but there is that Goldilocks zone somewhere in the middle, although I do honestly prefer when they lean at least a little bit toward the strong side with the aftermarket parts, just so there's actually some excitement surrounding it, and a good incentive to want to hop on and complete your weekly challenges to check out this new solid weapon that hopefully performs like nothing else in the game and offers a totally unique experience in the game. Also, just like with Modern Warfare 3, I am totally cool with them just bringing some aftermarket part attachments as well that can be used on multiple weapons that aren't just straight up conversion kits to your gun, but they just offer a slightly different stat adjustment compared to the existing attachments in the game, or maybe have some very unique characteristics to those as well. I think if they were to bring this system back, it would be a huge win-win. Not only is it a big win for the players because every week they've got something to look forward to, but it's also a win on their end because a huge metric they're always aiming for is player retention. And they want people to be coming back month after month, or week after week, or maybe even day after day. And this aftermarket part system, I'm sure, had some huge positive impacts on their player retention overall throughout the year in Modern Warfare 3, and I'm really hoping they were monitoring that and have decided to put these in Black Ops 6. But of course, time will tell. We still don't know everything about the game at this point, and we haven't heard anything about this system. But honestly, I'd be a little bit surprised if they don't try something at least somewhat similar to the aftermarket part system in Black Ops 6. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this topic in those comments down below. Would you like to see an aftermarket part system or something like it? Doesn't have to be called aftermarket parts. Like I said, they don't have to be 3D printed, but just weapon conversions or unique attachments. Would you like to see them added on a roughly weekly basis or not? Did you not like the aftermarket part system? And if so, please let me know why you didn't like it. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.